Scene 1, the spark of Reformation. The streets of Prague buzzed with murmurs of reform. Jan Hus' teachings began to spread far and wide. His calls for church reform resonated in the air, challenging the papacy and its power to divide. Yet when Hus was burned at the stake, a nation cried out, and blood began to boil. The Hussite movement, once peaceful, now burned bright. A crusade ignited. War would soon soil the soil. Scene 2, the first defiance. The city of Prague, on the eve of chaos, stood, a banner of defiance held high in the breeze. Jan Žižka, the one-eyed general, arose, a man of humble roots, yet filled with great expertise. The people demanded the right to communion in both kinds, a symbolic stand against the Pope's might. The king Wenceslaus vacillated in his place, fearing what might come from the rising tide. Scene 3, the defenestration of Prague. It started with anger in the city's halls, where Catholic lords taunted the Hussite cause. But the fury erupted. Voices turned to cries as Hussite rebels threw men from the high walls. Defenestration, a symbol of revolt. The sparks of war spread through the land. The blood of the martyrs coursed through the streets, and the Hussite banner took its stand. Scene 4, Siege of Prague, begins. The royal forces marched on Prague with pride, led by Sigismund, the king of Hungary. The Hussites prepared, with stone and sword by their side, determined to defend their land, wild and free. Žižka commanded, his gaze fierce and cold, setting barricades to thwart the enemy's stride. On the horizon, royal banners unfolded, but in Prague's heart, the Hussites would not hide. Scene 5, the Battle of Vitkov Hill. High on Vitkov Hill, a crucial fight unfolded. The royal army came with might, hearts bold. Žižka led his troops, defiant and strong. The hills echoed with the battle's song. Through thick smoke and the clash of steel, the Hussites held, their victory real. The royal forces fell back in retreat. Vitkov was theirs, their victory sweet. Scene 6, the First Crusade declared. Pope Martin issued the first of many calls to crush the heretics and tear down their walls. Crusaders flocked from lands afar, led by priests who sang of heaven's star. But the Hussites united stood their ground, refusing to bend, refusing to drown. Žižka rallied his troops firm and fast, knowing this war would not end fast. Scene 7, the Battle of Sudomer. On the plains of Sudomer, the battle raged, royal forces charged, their anger unchained. The Hussites, well armed, with wagons in place, took position, prepared for the chase. Žižka's wagons, a fortress on wheels, defended their men with iron and steel. The Crusaders charged with full might, but the Hussites held their ground in the fight. Scene 8, a bitter winter. The cold winds of winter blew harsh and strong, yet the Hussites' resolve remained firm and long. Starving and weary, the siege took its toll, but the defenders' spirit remained whole. In the bitter cold, Žižka stood with pride, watching the fires and watching the tide. The Crusaders faltered. Their hearts did wane. The Hussite resistance was not in vain. Scene 9, a Crusader's betrayal. A Crusader, weary, sought to end the strife. He offered secrets, planning to save his life. But his betrayal would soon be known when the Hussites uncovered it alone. The royal army, once sure of victory, suffered losses, diminishing their glory. In Prague's streets, word spread fast that even the Crusaders could not last. Scene 10, the Battle of Pribyslav, a pivotal clash of fate, a battle to determine which side would break. The Hussites stood their ground once more, with their wagons locked, a formidable shore. The royal army, with knights of fine repute, rushed in, thinking they'd surely loot. But the Hussites fought with furious might, pushing back the Crusaders into the night. Scene 11, the rise of the Taborites. Among the Hussites, a faction grew strong. The Taborites, fierce and determined, belonged. They followed Žižka's fiery call, seeking a world where the faithful stood tall. Their vision of purity led them to war, to cleanse the land, to settle the score. They fought with zeal and righteousness in mind, unyielding in battle, their purpose defined. Scene 12. Siege of Plzen. The city of Plzen stood in the crossfire. Under siege, the people's hopes grew dire. The royal forces gathered, their strength in tow, but the Hussites would not let their city go. Žižka arrived with his army strong, and Plzen's walls held firm all day long. The royal army, unable to breach, found themselves caught in a defensive siege. Scene 13, Žižka's final victory. On the field of battle, Žižka led, his armies, now legends, pushing ahead. He could see the enemy's desperate retreat, his soldiers' resolve a fierce heartbeat. Though his vision had dimmed with age, his military genius shone like a sage. The royal forces, once mighty and proud, were forced to retreat, heads bowed. Scene 14, the death of Jan Žižka. But fate is cruel as Žižka's end came near. Sickened by disease, he faced his greatest fear. With no sight to guide him, he slipped away, but his legacy remained to fight another day. The Hussites mourned, their leader gone, but his teachings lived on, a mighty song. The battle continued without his hand, yet his spirit stayed strong across the land. Scene 15, the Battle of Domazlice. Domazlice became another test of wills. The Hussites advanced, descending from the hills. Royal forces met them with courage and pride, but the Hussites attacked from every side. With Žižka's tactics etched in their soul, the royal lines began to lose control. Domazlice fell to the Hussites' might, a testament to their unyielding fight. Scene 16, the Pact of Prague. Finally, after years of strife and bloodshed, a compromise was forged. The Hussite cause wed. The Pact of Prague, an agreement of peace, the church's power began to cease. The Hussites gained some power in their land, a small victory, though not as planned. The war did not end in full accord, but a new chapter for the Hussites was assured. If you like it, please like and subscribe to the channel to receive all that is new.